Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Jazz Drummer Scott Kettner of the group Nation Beat. We caught up with him on September 16, 2020 during the COVID-19 world to talk about the band's latest CD, The Royal Chase. These days, he is the guiding force behind Nation Beat, a band where vibrant rhythms find common ground in the rhythm of Brazil's northeastern region, the Big Easy's funky, hypnotic second line, and strolling Mardi Gras Indians, and the unfettering freedom of big city downtown jazz. Man, it's full of a lot of punch, and he has a great tale to tell. Enjoy.
Thanks for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You bet. I really enjoyed the album. And I guess before we get to The Royal Chase, we should probably talk about the elephant in the room and releasing an album like this during a pandemic.
Yeah. Well, the album was recorded and slated to be released long before COVID. When we received a grant to record and produce the album from the Fresh Grass Foundation, so we already had the funding to do it. So we decided to go ahead and put the album out. We felt like people need music more than ever right now, so we pushed the album through.
Talk to me a little bit about the artistic approach. What were you going for? What do you ultimately want the listener to get from this experience?
Our music it's a mixture of New Orleans, Mardi Gras, and Brazilian carnival music. So our goal is to make people dance and feel good and feel happy. That's the main goal of our music. And then as you scratch, a little deeper, you start to see that we're playing with a lot of different cultural and musical similarities, and we're fusing different rhythms. So, more curious listeners start to dig in and say, well, wow, I never thought that rhythm would fit together. So there's various layers of listeners that we're attracting. The other layer is we're trying to bring dance and jazz kind of together, So we took all this dance music from Brazil that normally doesn't have improvisation, and we put improvisational elements to it. So we're trying to capture a sophisticated listener and get them to dance, and a dancer and get them to kind of be, exposed to more sophisticated solos in dance music.
In your bio, it mentions this line that goes from Brazil to New Orleans and back to Brooklyn. So my question to you is, where did this line begin? Your origins, your birth, and how you got into jazz?
Well, I got into jazz years ago. I went to jazz school at the New School University here in New York City. And my drum teacher was Billy Hart. And Billy Hart's one of the great jazz drummers, played with Miles Davis and Stan Getz, and the list is a mile long. And he was the one that introduced me to second line and the heavy New Orleans music and how it was similar to Brazilian music. So that's kind of how, years ago when I was a student, it was my mentor who kind of really inspired me to seek out the Brazilian music and the New Orleans music and to really kind of explore the similarities.
So talk to me a little bit about, like albums or musicians in the very beginning that really got you hooked.
Albums and musicians. Well, there's the John Coltrane, A Love Supreme album that has always been one of my favorites. Led Zeppelin has always been one of my favorites. The Stan Getz collaborations with Tom Jobim have always been my favorites. And then I started getting into the more lesser-known Brazilian music and New Orleans music, like Professor Longhair, the Mardi Gras Indians, Dr. John, and then in Brazil there's Luiz Gonzaga and Jackson do Pandeiro, Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil. And so all of that music has always been a huge influence to me. And on this album, I really think that I was subconsciously trying to bring all of those styles and all of those artists together.
What was the first live jazz show you ever saw that made you think, man, that's something I'd like to do with my life?
The first live jazz show was Joshua Redman with Brian Blade and drums.
Wow. That's a great way to begin. Thanks. So, during COVID-19, a lot of people have had that mirror in front of them, and there's been a lot of self-reflection. And as you think about your life as a musician and this absence of live music, what do you like the best about being a musician?
The thing that I like the most about being a musician is being able to perform for people and watch people transform during a concert, watch them smile, watch them dance, and just watch them kind of transform into carefree, and seeing people, just seeing the music take people to another place. That's what I enjoy the most about being a performing musician.
One thing about making music is that it's this collaborative effort of a conversation, especially in jazz. What is it that works so well about the band? What is it about the conversation, about the collaboration that makes it work so well?
Well, I think there's a lot of element of surprise. There's a lot of chartered ground that we are dealing with in terms of the styles that we're bringing together. Northeastern Brazilian music mixed with New Orleans music mixed with jazz. There's not a lot of references. So there's a lot of elements of surprise to what we do for ourselves. So we're always on our toes. We're always asking why. And I think that when I got together with the horn arranger, Paul Carlin, he's had a lot of experience with Afro-Cuban jazz, and also he played with Tony Allen, the great Afrobeat drummer. So he has a really strong concept of how clave and rhythms and harmony and melody fit together in these dance, these dance styles of music that are also have a lot of improvisation to them. So Paul and I got together and worked a lot on the concept. And I think that as we collaborated and as the band started to see these arrangements take shape, everybody jumped on board, and it was inspirational for everybody.
So when we do come back to live music, when the musician gets back on the stage and the crowd gets back out to the audience, once COVID-19 kind of goes away and things just ramp up, what do you hope both musician and audience realizes about this time away from live music?
I hope that the audience realizes how important live music is to them and to the future generations, to their children. That's what I hope, and the value of it. I really hope people don't lose the value of live music, and I hope that the artists don't lose the value and our value of how important it is of what we do, and how important it is that we continue performing for people on a live stage and feeling that energy, reacting with people together.
So everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fan base, but you're the one living your life. Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am?
Yeah.
Well, I think of myself as an artist. I don't think of myself as a drummer or a musician. I think of myself as an artist and an entrepreneur.
Perfect, man. Hey, thank you for taking some time out. Thank you for the music. Good luck with the album, and stay safe out there in this crazy world.
Man, thank you. I appreciate it, and thanks a lot for spinning our music, man. We appreciate that.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Brazil, New Orleans, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Scott for his time, cool, and energy. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.